Yes, welcome back to part two. I'm excited because, yes, I'm your host, Shawanna Kennedy. This is the safe space that we talk all things self-care, mental well-being, personal development, and empowerment. We do have a doctor in the building. I hope you caught part one. Make sure you go back right now if you haven't done that after this episode. Check out part one because Dr. Ayanna Miller, she is amazing. We have been discussing all sorts of things as it relates to the power of rehabilitation. These are all the things that she talks about, holistic wellness. And she's also about patient education and advocacy as it relates to us as a culture, us as people. I don't want to delay because I still have a few more questions that I want to talk about to this young lady, this doctor that is in the building. She is an author. She is a speaker. Won't you help me welcome none other than Dr. Ayanna Miller. Hello, Dr. Miller. Welcome back.
Hey there.
I'm excited because I know in our first part, we were talking all things about stroke and rehabilitation, what that looks like, what that feels like. She's even given us a couple of things to think about and consider as it relates to prevention, because this young lady is all about prevention, right? Because there are some things that we can do in, not saying generational, there are patterns and habits that we can course correct. How about that? We can course correct. I love how you were using the analogy of going under the hood, going under the engine of a car, and how we can look at and have a more granular conversation when we think about the things that go on under the hood of our bodies, right? Our mind, right? The body, the soul. We were even talking about meditation, but I do want us to pick back up right where you were leaving us as we were talking about detoxification and the importance of cleansing. What does that really look like and feel like for us? Because I know I'll be transparent here, right? Because we're about family, we're about friends, right? You've already shared it to all your loved ones and let them know that Dr. Ayanna Miller is in the building. Yes. Thank you, my self-firsters, my you-firsters, that I know if I don't eat a certain way, and I had to watch the language I use by saying it's generational as it pertains to my system, my core, right? When I think about irritable bowel, right? Because sometimes we already know when people be saying you're full of crap, you're literally full of crap. So, and I know I'm not the only one, right? I know y'all ain't got to raise your hands, but because we do have Dr. Ayanna Miller in the building, can you talk to us more about that detoxification and what that looks like and what that means when we don't cleanse?
Of course. First of all, I think it's important to understand why detoxification is important, because if we don't understand the backstory, we're not going to take it seriously. First of all, your body is receiving an onslaught of toxins all day, every day, whether it be electromagnetic, whether it be food, whether it be things you're putting on your skin, some way, somehow, whether it be cleansing materials or cleansing products in your home, whether it be other chemicals that you come in contact with in your daily occupation. We are constantly receiving toxicity, and your cells are not designed to carry and bear so much toxicity. Your body is designed to filter out and to clean the waste, the toxins that come in, but only to a certain degree. And this is why we see such a difference in physical presentations of today versus days gone by. Our forefathers did not have a lot of the pathologies that we have because they were not as affected by toxins as we are. So what does that mean? That means that without detoxification on a microscopic level, your cells are just like what I would reckon to be coals on a fire. When you're barbecuing, a lot of us can relate to that, whether you eat animal products or whether you're vegetarian, vegan, paleo, or whatever you choose to be. Sometimes you might enjoy putting your food on the grill. Well, when you initially light the coals, you do not see them doing much of anything. They're just kind of sitting there. And then after a while, you say, well, let me put a little more lighter fluid or kerosene on the coals. Remember, the coals are like your cells. So you add more gas, okay? And before long, you begin to see that the coals are kind of smoldering or smoking. All right. And then after a good while, you see that eventually those coals ash out. And so it is with the human body. When you're consuming things that are represented as gas or kerosene, it's literally igniting those embers. It's igniting a fire. It is literally burning your cells to a point where they die off. If they are not restored, rejuvenated, detoxified, cleaned up, what'll end up happening is those little baby cells, those microscopic cells that make up tissues, and those tissues that make up body parts, and those body parts that make up body systems will eventually fail. So it is critical that you understand this backstory. Without understanding this backstory, you will not take detoxification seriously, and you will not do anything about saving your life. If your cells are not restored, if they are not cleansed, if they are not rejuvenated, those cells that make up those tissues will die. Those tissues that make up those organs will die. Those organs that make up those body systems will die. Those body systems that make you, well, you know the rest. So it's critical that just like you clean your skin, you clean your hair, you have to clean your organs. What is cleaning your organs? Detoxification. So what that looks like is consuming things that your body can assimilate with, consuming things that will allow you to clean that liver out, clean those kidneys out, clean your blood flow, clean your lymphatics, clean your adrenals, clean your colon. If not, you heard it straight from the wellness horse's mouth.
I hope
there's consequences.
Go get yourself, drink yourself while we're watching. Go grab yourself at least 8 ounces of water right now.
Spring water.
Okay, right there then. What is your thought? You said spring. What about alkaline water?
There's only 2 types of water that I would advocate for. Now, I'm going to give you a disclaimer. I am not a nutritionist. However, I do know the impact that nutrition has on your cells. I am an anatomy physiology specialist. I do know the impact that nutrition has on your tissues and your body. There's only two real nature-made forms of alkaline water. That is spring water and mineral water. Those are the 2 you need. All that other water is man-made. Your body is a natural vessel. Your body can only assimilate and use other natural consumables. So if you're drinking water that is not coming out of the earth, what I mean by that is, if you're drinking water that originally came out of the earth, but then it was tweaked to become alkaline or to become purified or to become distilled or to become drinkable, water is automatically drinkable when it comes out of the earth. So the point I'm making is that when water becomes synthetic, your body doesn't recognize it. My dear friend, the and I call him my friend, the late great Dr. Sebi used an example that I always love and stuck with me. He talked about how if you take a piece of paper and you throw it out, I guess, into the woods or on the beach or whatever, and you come back 10 years from now, that paper has disintegrated. The earth has taken back what it once put forward. We know paper comes from a paper tree. If you take aluminum foil and do the same thing, ball it up and throw it out to the sand or the forest or whatever, you come back 10 years later, that foil is right there. Why? Because nature can't take that back. Nature did not create foil. We created foil. Foil is synthetic. Aluminum foil is what I'm referring to. I say foil. Look, in the country, we say foil, honey. But for those of y'all who are educated, it's aluminum foil. For us, it's foil.
Yes.
So the difference is nature cannot take back what it did not produce. So the same is with your body. Your body is a natural vessel, and your body cannot take back what was not naturally produced. So what you see happening is you're going to develop inflation. Where did I get that from? Inflammation. You'll develop.
Because it's going to cost. That's why inflation is going to cost you. That's why.
And you'll start to see little micro signals. In other words, the lights on the dashboard will start to show up. Why? Because those cells, those embers, those coals are starting to smolder. You've been taking in too much synthetic, and now the cells are becoming damaged. Why? Because they couldn't take in that toxicity. If it's not naturally occurring, your body registers it as being toxic. So before long, your body says, I don't know what to do with this. So it starts storing those toxins in places that'll just say, well, let me just push this over to the side. I don't know what to do with this. And I don't have anything to really help me eliminate this from the vessel. So I'm just going to store it in fat cells. I'll store it in places where just to get it out of the way. And that's your body's way of helping you to survive. Because if you don't detoxify and cleanse that toxicity, that synthetic water or those synthetic byproducts that you're consuming, if you don't get rid of them, you know what happens to coals in fire.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you. Look, for breaking that down. Look, because you said it, and then it's something because it is because of course drinking water. And while I had you here, and because you said it, I was like, let me ask. And so that was a great example and explanation about the water and all the other things that we do. We have to be mindful. If it was to be left, here you go, perfect example. I don't want to talk about the little golden archers, but if you left one of those little babies out and come back a week later, that okay, enough for them. You know, matter of fact, they're on the do not buy list anyway. They're on the do not buy list, right?
Correct.
I want to know, because we've had other conversations too about, I want to know, what is one of the routines that you do to help you keep your optimal self? What's one of your routines?
I make sure that I do a couple of things. One of them is I do some form of cleansing daily. Every morning, I'll drink some kind of detoxifying tea, whether it be to detox the liver, the kidneys, the colon. It's essential. And I'll give you a fun free fact. In addition to that, 3 to 5 days a week, I'm doing some kind of physical activity, because we know that, you know, if you don't move it and use it, you're going to lose it. And as you become older, if you want to remain mobile, you've got to force those tissues to remain mobile. Otherwise, the body will assume she doesn't need these body parts anymore. So let me just get rid of them so that I can conserve energy and shunt the survival efforts to the core parts. I'll shunt energy to the brain, the heart, the liver, and whatever. And the musculoskeletal system will just wither away. Like we say in the country, seize up. So, you know, that was you didn't ask for two, but that's two.
No, I love it.
Okay. Yeah. So number one, I don't forsake detox at all. Because again, if you're putting lotion on your skin, if you're putting deodorant under your arms, if you're eating synthetic things, if you're taking prescription drugs and medications, which in many cases, some of us have cells that have become so broken and damaged, we don't have a choice. We have to take prescription drugs. So you still have to clean your organs, clean your body parts. So that's one I don't forsake at all.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And while we're there too, I know, and this is probably going to be the one last thing I get to say, because this could be its own conversation. We had a conversation about an egg.
Oh.
And, you know, when you think about the chicken, you think about what the chicken produces and what we as consumers consume, but you gave some interesting insight on the egg. Why don't you help us to be better so that we can reconsider when we decide to scramble it up?
Well, an egg is only one example among many. Your anatomy is not designed to process flesh. An egg is a flesh byproduct. Honey is a flesh byproduct. Everybody's favorite bacon is a flesh byproduct. So we do know that an egg represents a compact capsule of primarily animal hormone. And so when you're eating the blood and hormones of another animal, that's going to disrupt the hormonal functioning of you. The hormones of the animal, xenohormones, will block your hormonal receptors, which means you will then end up with dysfunction in your own hormonal patterns. So say, for example, your estrogen receptors, which help to keep women feel calm and at balance, at peace, somehow are being blocked. Well, you may notice a shift in your mood. You may notice that you're oftentimes very stressed. Well, could it be your diet? Could it be that you're eating and consuming products that are animal-based and your receptors are being blocked? So an egg represents only one among many because it is a good example of an ultimate in animal blood and hormonal toxicity. I'm not saying that if you want to eat eggs, you shouldn't eat eggs. I'm not saying that. I can't tell you because, again, I'm not a nutritionist. But what I can say is that you need to be aware that constantly eating eggs, never detoxifying, you can look forward to some major shifts, downswings in your own metabolic functioning. That's just physiology, because you have got circulating hormones that don't belong to you. Your body can't recognize. And it's going to get to a point where your receptors will be blocked off, and you can think of receptors. Okay, we all know a beach ball. The little plug on the beach ball is a receptor on a cell. The ball is the cell. The plug that you pump the ball up with, that's a receptor. And these hormones and other neurochemicals that circulate throughout your body, you've got lots of them. There's 30, for example, that communicate between your gut and your brain. All right. So say, for example, those neurochemicals in the pituitary gland that correspond with pituitary gland being in the brain, that correspond with some of the hormones that circulate from the gut. What if those receptors are being blocked off? Okay, the little plug on the beach ball is blocked off. So you can no longer get air into that plug. In other words, the pituitary gland, the receptors on that gland are blocked off. So you can't get hormones attaching to it. And before long, it's not sending the proper signals to your uterus, and you're having post-menopausal spotting, and you don't know why. Because you're eating too much hormone from another vessel. You're eating toxins that are blocking your beach ball plugs. So your breath can't get into the beach ball because somebody else's breath is getting in, but your beach ball does not relate to and understand, well, what is this other breath that's coming trying to blow me up? I can't understand what this breath is. I only understand your breath. So if you can understand that analogy, hopefully.
Yes. No, I love it. I love it. Now, I'm just have to say it and put it out here, for the world to see. I will never look at a beach ball the same again, okay?
All the same way.
I will never look at a beach ball the same, but that was a great analogy. I love it. I love it. So we have to be mindful, and all jokes aside, but being serious, it's being mindful, and the same as it relates, because talking about meat is a whole nother thing, as I said, just even the way you said about bacon, because we think about the attitude and the trauma. Hello. the trauma that these animals that they go through, and if we're consuming this, we know that what, even for us as humans, the body remembers, even if when mentally we may block, the body remembers, and it's certain things that's triggered. What is your thought, even with when we think about triggers and trauma as it relates to other things that we consume, and then we're wondering why we feel a certain way, and it's because of the other things that we're consuming?
I'll just put it this way. Whether an animal is slaughtered and dies in fear, and there are it's in a mode of fight or flight because it's being slaughtered, and you have a surge in cortisol or hormones that are flooding that animal's musculoskeletal system, all of its organs and other systems because of fear. Whether or not that animal is being flooded with fear or not, the fact that it is an animal, your body does not have the proper enzymatic material to break down the body of another animal. So even before you deal with the stress and trauma that animal died with, even before you deal with your own consumption of his hormonal surges, even if he is happy and frolicking in the field, your body still cannot do anything with his flesh.
Yeah.
Again, you do not have digestive enzymes to break down all of the parasites and blood and other materials that come along with consuming another animal. This is why you have to cook them, because consuming them raw puts you at risk for even further at risk for disease. You're not like a lion. A lion was designed to hunt other animals. He does not need to cook his food. Why? Because he has enzymes that are innate to him that allows his body to digest other animals. You don't have that. Your teeth are not even designed to break down the flesh of another animal. That's why you got to chew so long and hard. To the first round of digestion is chewing and mastication. You've got to go into overdrive trying to break these body parts down in order to digest them, and still you don't have the tools. Your body doesn't have the tools to break down other animals. So the trauma that the animal feels when it dies, it's carried along with the animal by the time it gets to your plate. However, even if the animal did not die, if he was slaughtered in a kosher method where he was calm, more than likely he may have been shackled. He may have been restrained, and none of that even matters. Just the fact that, well, I'll say that makes it worse. But the fact that it's an animal or an animal byproduct, your body does not have the tools to assimilate his body or his byproducts. No other animal consumes our byproducts.
Yeah.
Other animals don't eat our eggs. Other animals don't eat our flesh unless they've been trained to.
Right.
But it's just not a natural occurrence. Every animal is designed to catch his prey. There's not one animal that we were designed to catch without an artificial tool. We need something in addition to what we have innately to catch animals, because they are not germane to what our bodies assimilate with. We assimilate with produce. Why? We can catch them. How hard is it for you to catch an apple or a mango or a cucumber? Right. Just like it's not hard for you to digest them.
Yes.
It's not hard.
I love that. I love it. I love it.
Watermelon.
I love that.
To assimilate with them. And that's why you can catch them, because that's your food source. Your food source is not something that you got to go underwater with a tool to try and kill a fish or a lobster or a shrimp. Your body is not equipped with a tool that you need to go up into the airways and catch a bird or a turkey. Your body is not equipped with some sort of tool that you need to run fast. And it's
okay. Yes. What about your body?
Your body is designed to consume what it can catch. Your body is not designed to catch animals in the air. Your body is not designed to catch animals of the field who run fast. Your body is not designed to catch animals of the sea who swim underwater. If you decide to use an artificial tool and consume these products or these animals' byproducts, that is strictly up to you. But understand, without detoxifying, there's going to be a consequence. Your body is designed to assimilate with what it can catch. You can easily catch things growing from the earth, things growing in the field, things that are planted. And so it's a no-brainer. You put two and two together,
yeah.
and God, the universe, has told you, this is what I prepared for you. If you decide to deviate and do something different, that's on you. But understand, you've got to be able to deal with the consequence, which is why we talk so much about detoxifying. Without detoxifying, you're going to have a cellular consequence, which will ultimately wind up in disease and disability, without a doubt.
Wonderful, wonderful, rich. A lot. I do appreciate you so much, Dr. Ayanna Miller, for stopping by, you first, coming by to help educate us, right? Because I've learned some things and listening to the conversation that we've had today. And before we get out here, I just want to know, what is your thoughts as it relates to the future of rehabilitation?
Well, you will always have rehabilitation. Rehabilitation meaning we're going to restore what occupies you. We're going to restore and recapture a prior level of function. But then I think the future is very bright where prevention is concerned. I believe that we're going to begin to understand the importance of integrating aspects of our let me just put it in a capsule, all body systems. We're going to begin to understand integrating our organs along with our chemistry, along with our musculoskeletal system in order to be well. And there's going to be many approaches to doing that, whether it be physical therapy, whether it be mindful meditation, whether it be yoga, whether it be Ayurvedics. There are a lot of ways to do that, but you will always have a need for some traditional care as well. You're going to always have a need for pharmaceuticals. But what we want to do is to try and enhance your quality of life, because as we live longer, we know that people are living longer now. We don't want you to suffer as much. So the future is very bright where prevention and wellness are concerned.
Love it. Thank you so much, Dr. Ayanna Miller, for joining us. Don't you go nowhere. Let me get them out of here. All right. I know you enjoyed it as much as me. She is amazing. Make sure you are following Dr. Ayanna Miller on all social media platforms. Get over there if you're on LinkedIn. Check her out, follow her, show her some love in the comments right now. We love you, Dr. Ayanna Miller. Thank you, because we're going to definitely have to have you back, because we know this could have been a whole series about the things that you could teach us here. So we appreciate you. Make sure you are doing the things that you need to do to keep yourself priority in your life, because you got stuff to do. People need you. And if nobody else needs you, you need you. You know what I always say, do something today that your future self will thank you for. I appreciate you so much for being a part of this, hitting the notification bell, sharing, liking, and even following. All right, guys, just make sure you just follow me. And I'll see you for our next episode of You First. Bye for now. This episode is brought to you by Kennedy Media and Entertainment, your premier video productions and digital visibility partner. Working with business owners just like you to be seen, heard, and paid by elevating your brand with high-impact video content, online visibility strategies, and expert social media management. Ready to stand out in your industry, on and off camera? Contact Kennedy Media today, and let's turn your message into a movement. because visibility isn't optional, it's essential. Contact KennedyMediaLLC.com, KennedyMediaLLC.com, and let's boost your brand's visibility. It's time for you to be seen, heard, and known for your expertise. Contact us today.